Hello ladies, gentlemen and people who should be fucking studying for their exams. And welcome to The Struggle, a news talk show powered by No Seriously, Get Back to Fucking Studying. I'm your host Matilda. Welcome. Tonight we'll be discussing DNA soulmate searching, dick pic measuring and how shit politicians are. Again. We open with an expensive white powder people are going crazy over. If you get caught snorting this, there's no legal repercussions, it's just fucking weird. Instead of buying it by the gram, this substance is bought in bulk. That's right, we're talking baby formula. Having been in such high demand recently, Coles has had to limit the number of tins customers can buy from 8 down to 2. And heaps of people would seem to agree. The more, the better. The scarcity is partly thanks to Daigous, personal shoppers who load up on the formula in Australia and then on-sell it to international customers, many of whom are in China. Daigous are like food delivery services acting as the middleman, transporting goods from shop to consumer. But unlike working for Uber Eats, these shoppers can actually live off their income, with some Daigous earning more than $100,000 a year. If only I'd known about the booming baby formula trade before I took up journalism. I mean, it seems the best I can hope for after years of loyal service to the news industry is fronting Uber Eats' latest ad campaign.
We now cross live to Ray Martin.
Tonight, I'll be eating butter chicken with a cheese and garlic naan from Miss India.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
With shelves being stripped of baby formula, racist sentiment has increased against what some see as financial opportunists depriving local parents from nourishing their children. But in reality, parents in China are desperate for quality baby formula, especially since the 2008 Chinese milk scandal. Contaminated milk and formula led to more than 50,000 infants being hospitalised and 6 child deaths. And while deciding between feeding Australian or Chinese kids isn't a great situation to be in, it actually seems Pauline Hanson has a logical solution to deal with the demand for Aussie powder.
How are you proposing we fix it?
We've got to ramp up production in Australia.
If only she was that reasonable in other matters as well, such as in 2016, when she said most domestic violence complaints were frivolous.
They're making frivolous complaints and it's tying up our court system.
Look, it was probably a bit much of us to ask Pauline to be sensible on more than one occasion. Now, for those who like to start their relationships with a sexy cheek swab or cheeky urine sample, you've got company. Scientists have developed a DNA test to measure soulmate compatibility. Fed up with trying to connect with someone on a date, a group of scientists have banded together to make modern dating totally dickhead-proof. Because sure, dating apps help us meet people, but we still have to do all the falling in love or running away screaming ourselves. We introduce instant chemistry, an alternative to all that nonsense.
It's all based on the idea that your genes determine compatibility. Sounds good, right?
Instant Chemistry is a biotechnology company dedicated to helping couples make sure they aren't wasting their time with someone who isn't their soulmate. They achieve this through analysing the serotonin transporter gene, which determines a person's personality.
Together the drama mellow. The birth of a notion.
Basically, a couple sends their respective DNA away and Instant Chemistry tells them if their partner is their soulmate. And if they aren't, they break up immediately and apologise to one another for wasting each other's time. Technology. But seriously, what kind of an insecure... We now cross to our science correspondent while I check up on something totally unrelated to this story.
Thank you, Amber. As you folks at home can see, our host is already a total believer at this science. Because at Instant Chemistry, they will find your soulmate guaranteed. And if you can't, just kill yourself and give up because nobody will ever love you.
The kit only cost $199, a small price to pay considering this tech will determine the future success of any relationship with 100% accuracy. Terms and conditions apply. The test looked at the genes in your immune systems. The more differences there are in two people's immune systems, the more attractive they find each other.
It gives you a rundown of how you and your partner deal with a conflicted situation. All it requires is a saliva sample. Oh, I know you've done despicable things with your saliva, so spitting into a cup isn't the end of the world. And the results so far has been very positive.
The test helped Greek American couple Maria and Tasso Pardalis, who've been married for 5 years, reaffirm their compatibility. They have a 75% emotional compatibility and 98% genetic compatibility.
That's a DNHD right there. Amber, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. We nerds know what we're doing.
Spinster. It just says spinster. We go now to an ad break while I go delete all my dating profiles. Now to talk about the topics that matter. Extreme cleavage, no bra, and granny panties. If you're familiar with these words, it's because you've read the Daily Mail way too often. If there ever was a record attempt for the highest number of digs taken at women for, well, being women, I am sure the Daily Mail would be a frontrunner. The tabloid's ability to slut-shame women is uncanny and unmatched. Here are some of their hard-hitting headlines. Shorts. Someone dared to wear shorts that were, well, short. The life-nourishing nipple was distracting the Daily Mail from the part of boobs society is comfortable with. Because bunny ears, short dresses, and Ariana Grande are definitely the reason terror attacks happen. The Daily Mail isn't just slut-shaming human women either. On this photo of an elephant in Kruger National Park, the headline read, "The elephant that forgot to put her bra on." It went on to further describe the indignity of the animal for walking around and scaring tourists. Yep, a real person with a real job wrote a real article about an elephant's lack of undergarments. Give the poor elephants a break. We all have days when we need to air the twins out. We cross now to our miscellaneous correspondent Tavleen, who is inside the Daily Mail office, hoping that she isn't the tabloid's next target.
Is my dress too tight? Is it too short? Is my panty line visible? Basically, anytime the Daily Mail sees any women showing some skin, they think they can make a killer story out of it that the world needs to read about. The Daily Mail wouldn't know a double standard if it captured them while on the beach. In fact, I'm starting to worry that if I sit here for too long, I'm going to be the heinous publication's next victim, alongside Ariana Grande, the Duchess of Sussex, and the poor elephant. Makes me sick. And you know what? It almost seems like the Daily Mail's favorite pastime is apologizing. I've got it. I have cracked their MO. They basically just find any water body, insect, human being, anything with a female gender attached to it, make an observation, make a killer headline, a story, and then once pressurized, apologize for it. For fuck's sakes, guys, it's not a good thing, it's not appreciated, and it's not getting you anywhere. Sorry, I can't do this anymore. Amber, I have got to go inside and give them a piece of my mind.
Thanks, Slut. Let's discuss something a little more upbeat. Cancer. A study conducted by Leonard Nunny from the University of California has found that with every 10 centimetres above the average height, your chances of getting cancer increases by 10%. The taller you are, the more cells in your body, the more room cancer has to develop. Now, some of you might be wondering, why tell us this seemingly irrelevant, extremely depressing, and ultimately useless fact? Well, because our show has discovered that, contrary to popular belief, it is 500 million times better to be short than tall. Thanks. We call it short privilege. This study simply reflects just one of the thousands of perks that come with being a tiny short ass. I'm simply looking to inform everyone on the benefits of being short. Come to think of it, ever since I returned from my journalistic pursuits in Sydney, I've just gotten so much more perspective on things. And that's why the Today Show is actually groundbreaking journalism. The health benefits of being short. According to anecdotal research, short people are less likely to develop blood clots, encounter stressful situations, or be uncomfortable on aeroplanes. The research also found that short men are less likely to develop STDs. but that's just a byproduct of involuntary celibacy. We have Frida Loader out on the streets to gauge both tall and short people's reaction to this news.
Do you like being tall?
Yeah, it's good. Not really sure what it's like being short, so...
Am I short?
Have you ever tried or wanted to be shorter?
No, definitely not. I don't know how I would try.
What if I told you your lack of height is actually what is keeping you alive?
Nah.
Your height right now is keeping you safe from a multitude of diseases, including cancer.
I'd say great.
You right now, because of your height, are at grave risk of getting cancer and will probably die by tomorrow. Do you have any words of encouragement for those tall people who are riddled with illnesses right now?
Just keep going, gets better.
Thanks, Frida. We go now to an ad break so I can go through my phone and delete some dick pics. Oh, that can't be healthy. Dick pics. Fellas, enough with the goddamn dick pics. There's a new app from Apple that turns your phone into a ruler, allowing you to accurately measure the size of objects in real time. There's now also an epidemic of guys sending dick pics with the official measurements of their piece. Because, of course, that's the first thing guys would think to do. Now, although some people struggle to take the dick pic epidemic seriously, journalist Sophia Ankel from The Guardian has had no problem with taking a measured stand to the issue. In a recent article, Ankel argued that unsolicited dick pics and nudes should be criminalised. According to a UK poll on YouGov, 46% of millennial women who have received unsolicited nude images were under the age of 18 when they received them. Ankel attributed the rise of dating apps as a key catalyst for the current dick pic climate. Turns out not everyone has been using Tinder exclusively to look for love. But honestly, has anybody ever seen a good dick pic? Is it possible to make a penis look attractive to the point of wanting to see a picture of it in the middle of the day on your fucking phone? Probably not, right? Our dating correspondent Courtney Courtship sure doesn't think so, and she is on the case as the war against unwarranted nudes continues.
As we've seen out of the UK in the last week or so, there's actually been a move by some MPs to criminalise the act of the sending of an unsolicited dick pic. Now, I, for one, think this would be a pretty good initiative. I'm more of a keep the sausage in your jocks until asked for kind of gal myself. But I know that some of my fellow sisters would be a little bit more inviting of the idea of receiving the odd dick pic or two. So I thought, what better way to test the, shall we say, wantedness of a dick pic than to have a walk around campus and see how some girls would react if they were actually sent an unsolicited dick pic.
Tabitha, have you ever received a dick pic?
Yes, more recently within the past 2 weeks actually.
Yes, I have recently been sent one.
It was one of those circumstances where I actually kind of asked for it, so it was a bit different, but yeah. I'm very, within consent.
I felt a bit nervous because I thought I had some chemistry with this guy, but once he sent it to me, I realized
dissolved straight away.
It kind of went downhill.
Girls have to be in the zone to want that sort of thing, so it's very jarring.
It was nice, but I knew that was all I was gonna get.
It was actually very decent. I kind of want to see what I'm getting into.
Oh, I should be really more careful opening up my phone when talking to this boy.
I know, otherwise surprise.
If you're sort of asking for it and they're always down to send one, then it's really, it's a win-win situation really. So yeah, I definitely was happy with this one.
The consensus seems to be consent is key. Go ahead, fellas. Feel free to send that pic of your bratwurst and meatballs, but just make sure that your recipient isn't in for a rude shock when she opens up her phone.
Speaking of dicks, or a room full of them, the Victorian state elections have arrived, reminding us once again that politicians suck and democracy is dead. In just 3 weeks, the Victorian state election takes place, where you can pick from around 23 parties. There's the Voluntary Euthanasia Party, which always sees a spike in support around exam times. The Justice for Animals Party, which always sees a drop in support around Australia Day. The Health Australia Party, which wants herbal supplements to be given the same standing as pharmaceuticals because fuck science. And the Aussie Battler Party, a party formed just a couple of weeks ago to contest the state election. Party leader Stuart O'Neill is a divorced business and life coach who is mad the government sold Vegemite and his favourite shoes are thongs. He voluntarily listed all that on his website. They've also started a GoFundMe page which has raised less than a tenth of its goal 3 weeks into its 5-week campaign. Here's O'Neill announcing the party's registration.
We had all the odds against us. No major party would like to see a new political party that's got a bit of grunt and nous, and we're alive, and it's thanks to you. So let's go Victoria, thank you.
25. The video has 25 views, at least 5 of which came from team members of the struggle. Let's go Victoria. Well, the Libs aren't in power down here, but just look at what they've done on a federal level. They've provided us with the coolest Prime Minister we've had to date.
Where people get all caught up with all sorts of gossip and rubbish, and that's probably why most of you switch off any time you hear a politician talk.
The coolest.
Well, what a depressing 3 months it's been. And do you know that he's also got a trophy boasting about how many boats he's turned around, warning refugees that their situation could get worse?
If you choose not to go home, then you will spend a very, very long time here. You should tell anyone else you know who seeks to follow you that they should not do it, or they'll find themselves in a similar circumstance or much, much worse.
Oh, and God, his homophobic comments.
Okay, but what about Labor fighting for the workers' rights while illegally paying their staff? The red shirt scandal was huge. You know what they did? Labor salaried campaign organisers as electorate officers, which were paid for by the taxpayer instead of the party. 17 were arrested, and even after cheating, they still couldn't get elected.
Okay, well, what about Matthew Guy dining with a mob boss?
Big whoop, who hasn't?
Oh, the opposition leader dined with Tony Madaffrey, who is accused of being a high-ranking member of the Melbourne Mafia. And the Liberals have been accepting donations for the Madaffrey family for fucking years, Amber.
Okay, but fine. You know what the Liberals are doing that's just fucking fantastic? They're reviving a health campaign from the 1970s because clearly it worked because obesity isn't a problem in Australia. Take a look.
Wouldn't you know it? Here it is, it's Saturday. Just look at that, I've got a flat on the FJ.
Don't worry, Norm.
Who's that?
It's me, the TV Good Fairy. You will get to the TAB today, Norm.
How?
You'll walk, son.
Walk? I'm standing. I'm walking. Huh?
Today, live more of your life.
Gee, I wonder who they were sponsored by. So, they both suck.
Well, there is one other option.
The Greens.
Will they get in power?
Probably not.
If they get in power, will 3 years be anywhere near enough time to implement any of their huge revolutionary plans?
Yeah, again, probably not.
And will their policies negatively impact Australia's economy in the short term?
Quite possibly. But look at it this way. They've never had a leadership spill. They seem to at least vaguely care that we've got kids on Nauru, and they give a shit about the environment.
Actually, you've left the best for last. The One Nation Party, the only party brave enough to acknowledge that being white is not just okay. It's a privilege. Who will tell the police the truth that they're just not hard enough on Aboriginal kids mere months after one was chased down and run over by a cop car? And with a federal leader who will walk into Parliament in a full burqa simply for 5 seconds of fame? Australians, recognise your leader.
Okay, wait. One Nation isn't even running for state. And who keeps letting her in?
I thought we very specifically told security.
We did.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm Matilda.
And I'm Amber.
Thanks, guys. That's our episode and a wrap on season 2. It's been a pleasure hosting the show all this season without any help from anybody else.
A heartfelt goodbye from myself, our correspondents, and everybody else who helped make the show great, except Matilda, who made it worse. Make sure you spread this show like crabs at an 80s disco.
And until we return with season 3, remember, the struggle,
it's real. Hello, you beautiful, delicate, precious snowflakes, you.
And welcome to The Struggle,
a news talk show powered by Kenya's internet speed.
Soon to be projected onto the sails of the Sydney Opera House.
Powered by millennials who are single and ready to mingle.
A news talk show powered by the power, fuck me.
Wiley and her date were hiking up Mount Tibrogargan when she slipped on a rock. We're hiking up Tibrogargan. Fuck me, Jesus. Can I just say hiking up a mountain? Why do we need to say what mountain? No one knows what it is anyway.
Today, we'll be discussing lip gloss, underwear, and hair down there.
Cut. Channeled. Sorry, am I meant to kick you off then or you stay in shot? Okay. Siri, who is the Prime Minister?
The answer I found is Theresa May.
You heard it here first.
Are you all just in there laughing at me? Can someone break up in the auto cue, break up the syllables for me, please? Deputy Labour leader Tanya Plisevic has called attacks on... I thought it was going to be in 3 syllables.
Daddy, what? Speaking of Pete and Dutton, while some... I nearly said Peter Daddy. One take wonder.
Just everyone come pat my head. Good, Amber.
Just from the bottom, just for some volume. Oh, yes, no, just crunch it like that. Oh, yeah, no, like you can, oof.
It's gotta have some volume.
I don't think they just want me to be a coconut head. Like, you get the hair has to have volume, guys.
Am I gonna look like a massive egotist if I just whip my comb out and fix my hair real quick?
Why have you got a comb on?
But this week, it's all about Sam Newman and his very... Thanks, Tool Dog. It's Fitzy here, and as always, I went off screen, sorry.
Dude, control yourself.
I fucked it.
If you don't say my fucking name properly, I'm gonna lose my goddamn shit. Do you understand me, Fitzy, you fucking asshole? You're an idiot, you're a fool, you're a loser, your mother hates you.
That was the funniest shit. Your mother hates you.
No, scroll it back up, I want to redo it. Fuck you, Chester. I'll get some liposuction so I can be like Jane. I don't see any fucking coffee on my table right now, Pina, and I offered you a fair reward. Chester! When are we gonna have an ad break, guys? What's going on? Let's go, please, I want to go home. Peter? I'm gonna fucking murder you. Okay, this time, fuck you, Chester. I've become a diva in your absence.
Yeah, you'll put up with this shit. Yup. To the brand new ad.
Vegemite? Please.
Oh. I'm your host, Matilda. Welcome. Tonight will be... Okay, I wasn't ready. I know, that's why
Thank God.
You're supposed to be in a kangaroo onesie for this segment. But she's missed the threat that's chewing grass in her very own backyard. We're being swamped by kangaroos.
Matchmaker, bring me a match. Find me a find, match me a match.
Heard there was a secret code that David played in a police log.
It's a shit show. Put that in the blooper reel. Make that the last shot of the blooper reel, like they do in a kind of meta blooper reel way, except now you use this one so it's even more meta.